Hello, Afternators. So something fell through, and I got to see the Thursday night screening of After, that we've all been waiting for. Of course, the film is directed by Jenny Gage. It's written by Susan McMartin, Tamara Chestnut, and Jenny Gage. It's based on the book by Anna Todd. It stars, of course, Josephine Langford and Hero Finds Tiffin as Arhessa, Katagia Red Thunder as Steph, Shane Paul McGee as Landon, Samuel Larson as Zed, Inanna Sarkis as Molly, Dylan Arnold as Noah, Swen Temmel as Jace, Pia Mia as Tristan, Selma Blair, Peter Gallagher, Jennifer Beals, and Meadow Williams. And of course, if you follow the channel for any extended period of time, then you know that I have been completely excited for this film. And just to give you a quick premise for anybody who hasn't read the book, and just know that this is going to be a complete non-spoiler review. The full spoiler review will come sometime in the next week. But the premise is basically that Tessa Young, of course played by Josephine Langford, is a dedicated student, a dutiful daughter, and loyal girlfriend to her high school sweetheart. Entering her first semester of college, Tessa's guarded world opens up when she meets Hardin Scott, a mysterious and brooding rebel who makes her question all that she thought she knew about herself and what she wants out of life. And let's start with the positives here. Let's start with our two main leads. Josephine Langford and Hero Finds Tiffin, they knock this thing completely out of the park, especially Josephine Langford. Well, I mean, both of them equally, but I think that she kind of, ekes out a little bit. They carry this movie, and they kind of have to, because I think that there's very little there's nary a scene where they are not front and center, where at least where they are not front and center. I think that they were the perfect Hessa. I think that they captured it perfectly, and for them, I want a sequel. For this entire cast, I want a sequel. But I also really love the music. I love the cinematography. I thought there were some beautiful, beautiful shots. Of course, you guys know the aquarium sequence. I thought that was very beautifully done. I thought that the love scenes were very beautifully done. For all the talk that I've done about the fact that internationally is getting a more hard R version, or a more explicit version, and us here in the U.S. is getting the PG-13. Personally, I didn't really see anything in there that indicated that there was, a difference or something. I mean, I thought that it worked well. I thought that the love scenes worked very well. I felt because for me personally, when it comes to romance sequences, sometimes the most romantic sequences, or sometimes the most sexiest sequences, are with clothes on. So, and that's just the way how I feel when I'm watching a lot of sex scenes, is that, a lot of the times it feels like, yeah, you guys have better chemistry when your clothes are on. But with these two, they have chemistry every step of the way. That's another reason why I want a sequel, is because, these two just radiate chemistry. And like I said, these two completely knock it out of the park. Now, when I first originally had the idea to do a spoiler review, I thought that it was only going to be because of the ending. But sitting there watching the film, and especially how my stomach is twisting and turning in knots right now, because I really don't know how I feel about this film, there's more of a reason for me to do a spoiler review, because that's my problem right now, is that I don't know personally how to feel about this film. I can definitely see that there will be people who come out of there, immediately and start screaming best movie ever, oh my god, it's Arhessa, and, they're really happy. But I will say this. If you are going in there expecting a line-by-line, beat-by-beat, a literal translation of the book, then you are going to be completely disappointed. You are going to walk out pulling out your hair and cursing the name of everybody involved in this. This is an adaptation, and a lot of the changes that they made, I was okay with. For a lot of them, when it comes to the editing of this film, Uh, and that's where I started to play in my head, like, hearing that, like, the internationally is getting like a more R-rated version, or like a more explicit version versus us. Not in terms of the sex scenes, but a couple of the times with the editing, it felt like they were literally jumping from one scene to the next, with sometimes no connective tissue, and sometimes feeling like that there's like chunks missing out of the film. And once I see it a couple more times, and once I do the full spoiler review, I'll give you guys, more examples, or actually give you guys examples of what I'm talking about here. But yeah, there were a couple of times when I was sitting there watching the movie where I was like, this doesn't like there's something going on here, because it definitely feels, even though I was fine with the editing, it did feel a little bit like they like literally like scenes were happening with like literally like no connectivity. That they were just jumping literally from one scene to the next to the next to the next to the next. Um my opinion could change like by about the fifth or sixth time that I see this film, because I am going to go see this film repeatedly this weekend to gear up for the spoiler review sometime next week. Um, I laughed, I cried. I mean, I felt for him, and again, I think that this is really a testament to Hero Finds Tiffin, and especially Josephine Langford, that they really made you believe in this relationship. And if you read the book, you know that, ooh, something happens. If you read the book, you know something happens. And another problem that I had, and again, this might, change by next week, or this might change by the time I do my spoiler review. Um, I want a sequel. I think that everybody did a great enough job that they deserve a sequel, that they deserve another go at this. And there is a part of me that, because this is like the first film, that I am trying to be a little bit easier on this film, uh, and try to, say like, well, yeah, they did more than enough to earn a sequel. But my big problem is, especially with the ending, and I'll talk more about this in the spoiler review, I don't know where they're going. I don't know what the sequel is going to look like. There are scenes in the trailer, there are shots in the trailer that do not make it into the film. And like some of the, especially like some of the adult actors, like Selma Blair, Peter Gallagher. Peter Gallagher and Jennifer Beals really only had one sequence in the film. Again, I will go into more detail in the spoiler-filled review, but literally they just seemed to, just like walk on for like one scene, and then they left. If there's again, like, I'm gonna keep coming back to Josephine Langford and Hero Finds Tiffin, because they really did carry this film on their shoulders. They really did prove that they deserve another shot at this, that they deserve to get a sequel made, that they deserve to have the fans come out and support them, and shower them with praise, and let them do that sequel. Because I mean, like I said, these two really do carry this film. That they really do have like a lot of chemistry in this film, and I know that there's like a lot of rumors floating around that they are together. That would not surprise me. Looking at some of the scenes in this film, that really would not surprise me, because that's just how much chemistry they have. That either they are the greatest actors in the world, or they just or that they are actually really together. One or the other. A lot of people have been talking about this film through the lens of the fact that this originally started as fan fiction, and sort of like a derisive way, pretty much saying that this thing, is fan fiction. And I'm gonna say, sure, it started as fan fiction, but watching the film and reading the book, you can definitely see the more literary comparisons. You can definitely see the more classic inspiration that Anatod had when writing the book, such as stuff like Wuthering Heights, Pride and Prejudice, Dangerous Liaisons are like the big three. This definitely has a very independent film feel. That's the big thing here. That this film definitely does feel like an independent movie. It definitely does not feel like it was made by like a huge studio with like a lot of money. Again, I don't know what the budget is, but I mean I can't imagine that the budget is that high. But they made do with what they had. But yeah, the final thing that I'm gonna say here, because again, you guys can kind of see here on camera like how I'm twisting in knots, and I just don't know how to feel about this. I'm still gonna say go see it, but with the caveat saying that do not go in expecting a complete literal translation of the film. Don't go in expecting a complete literal translation of the book. Just go in knowing that you're going to be watching an adaptation with new sequences that were not in the book, changes that are made, some that I will go into the spoiler review, more into in the spoiler review, sometimes for the better. There were some issues that I had with the book, or some stuff that I had issues with the book that they changed in the movie that I'm actually pretty glad that they did. That they had like the foresight to realize that yeah, this is kind of there's a problem here. I really did love the relationship between Hardin and Tessa, and I think that the actors really did describe it best. Is that this is not a toxic relationship. This is basically a relationship. This is a imperfect relationship. I did not see really any abuse. I did not see any toxicity to the relationship. Again, I'll go into something in the spoiler review because I know like some of you are pretty much saying like, "Oh my God, did they take out this?" And it's like, no, they didn't. They just sanded off the edges. And that's another thing about this film is that it did feel like they were sanding off the edges. That it really did feel PG-13. It really did feel like the R rating was gone. And I kind of wonder, just like sitting there watching the movie, I was kind of like, okay, is this what people were talking about? That like the US is getting like a different version than international? Or is this just a creative choice that they made? And I could not tell, but I'm leaning more toward creative. I mean, watching the way how the film progressed, it felt like I think that both sides are going to get the same version. That I think that the talk of U.S. versus international, I think that that was just a bunch of hot air, to be honest with you, unless somebody can actually point blank say, yes, it is different. Because personally, to me, it looked more like a creative choice. This is definitely a film that I think the fans should go out and support. Like I said, just realize that this is not going to be a direct, literal adaptation. But you know what? Josephine Langford and Hero Finds Tiffin are more than worth the price of admission. They are definitely our Hessa. They deserve another shot at this film. They deserve another shot to get a sequel and to continue to bring Hessa for our viewing pleasure. So I'm gonna have to give After a B plus. So jump down to the comment section below. Let me know what you think. As always, thank you so much for watching. Remember to click the like button. Remember to subscribe. I'll see you later, Afternators. Take care, y'all.